Good noon, everybody. Pips, isn't it?
Hello.
It's bleeding Monday again, and it flies so fast. I don't know. Tempus fugit, as they say. Oh gosh, we got a ton of peeps joined us, haven't we? Am I at the beginning? I think. Oh, hang on, steady. So, hi Susan. Hello Wendy. Hello Sean. Hello Gilda. Hello Yoff. Hello Carol. Hello Cass. Hello Helena. Hello Jess. Hello Shana. Hello Taylor. Hello Logan. Welcome all. And please tell your friends. I think we should make Magickal Monday bring a friend or six, because we'd like more people here. And you can help. So.
Well, it's just that Monday at noon, a lot of people are actually working, or they're having to sneak their lunch.
They can have lunch. And what a better way to spend lunch than with us. That's what I would say, because, you know, we help your digestion.
Oh, do we? Well, by laughter?
It's a proven fact.
Oh, laughter's a good medicine?
It is. I mean, yeah.
Oh, gosh. So much to talk about.
It is. But let me just get some admin done out of the way, first of all. So we have made a decision on the upcoming book.
That's what I was going to talk about.
For book. Lisa's going to talk about it now.
No, I wasn't. I'll let you.
No, it's okay. So for you fine folks, you will note we have started another guild, and it is your mission, if you choose to accept it, brave and valiant ones, to throw us 10 super chats of any variety whatsoever. There you go. Please do it straight away. Thank you. And we will begin this book, which is a novel by Dion Fortune. Tell them all about it, Mrs.
All right.
B.
So Dion Fortune wrote 4 novels, and they are kind of the energy of the 4 elements.
They are.
So there's the winged bull, the goat-footed god, the sea priestess, and moon magic. And
which one's the Leo one, though? If they're who knows?
Anyway,
Leos don't count.
And they are also very Kabbalistic. And I'm going to speak to someone I know who wrote a book called Keys to the Temple to see if we would be allowed to do the workbook that she wrote that goes with the novels. So she's contemporary. But Dion Fortune obviously is not around anymore.
No, Violet Frith.
But anyway, this is going to probably take us through the year, because we have 4 of these big novels, and we can only read for about an hour on a Monday. So it'll be like a mini workshop book club. We're excited about that. So it's going to start with the Sea Priestess tonight at 8. The other thing I wanted to let everybody know, in case you don't live locally, the classes that are going to be starting up, many of them are going to be hybrid. So we're going to teach in person and on Zoom simultaneously, and that will be for our next tarot class that starts July 20th. And then we also have an astrology class starting, and that will also be hybrid.
Well, that's you.
The astrology class is
she's the astrologer. I just play one on TV.
Right, but I might need you to because I can't do everything all at once.
Oh, I have to push buttons and press knobs.
And press knobs
and
twiddle
things
and whatever
and all that fun stuff.
So do not despair if you live far away. Also, if you were interested in the YouTube schedule, that is on the Awareness Shop's Facebook page under events.
How cool is that?
Because I don't know where else to put it.
We like to confuse people.
I could put it in community, I suppose, here, but, you know, I might have, but it's very hard to find.
I have no wit anymore. We had a wit once.
And then somebody just popped up on there. Oh, yeah, Doris Jean, hello.
Doris Jean is saying good afternoon.
Jess, thank you for the super chat.
Jess, she's made the lights flash.
There you go.
It's fun to make the lights flash.
All right, so.
I still think we should have pyrotechnics.
You know, we had our new moon in Gemini a couple days ago, and we don't have a full moon until the 11th. So this week we're kind of in between. And some people may already be noticing this coming together of Saturn and Neptune. So it's a very interesting coupling. Right? Neptune wants you to dream and dream big and to not expect limits and to just manifest and make things happen and be all magical and mystical and amazing. And Saturn says, hang on a minute, you gotta have something steeped here in reality. Yeah, reality, yeah. You gotta learn your lesson. You can dream, but is that dream paid for in karmic lessons? So it's a very interesting combination of things. And I asked for a message on how to deal with this. And I pulled the Ace of Cups. So I think that that's a layered answer.
It's
right?
kind of breathe as well as
It's saying,
remember to breathe.
Take your time and breathe. Pay attention to your inhales and exhales, right? What you're holding in and that kind of thing. And it also is understanding how to combine the elemental energy, right? Because the Ace of Cups has those 5 streams and they create spirit. So through our Saturn work, through our learning of the lessons, through our sorting through things and dealing with our reality and putting in the work, we can manifest our dreams. So in other words, it's saying, oh, Saturn wants you to make the commitment to Neptune, right? Neptune says, got a dream? Give me the details and I'll manifest it for you. Saturn is saying, okay, fine. Pay attention to those details, right? If you want to manifest something, you got to work at it. You can't just like one and done. You've got to pay attention. So if you really want to succeed at something this month, because they are coming to within less than a degree of each other. Their perfection isn't till February.
Take a while.
But this month is our checkup. This month says, you know what to expect in February? This. So what's happening this month is going to be full on in February. So we have this month to get our act together. Is there something that you want to clean and clear? Is there something that you want to get organized? Is there something that you want to build? Is there something really important to you that you want to get moving? This month is the reset button. And you can't just be like, oh, it would be nice to blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't that be lovely? Yeah, that would be. How are you going to do it? Get your act together. How are you going to do it? So it's very intense. But we also have a little bit of relief in the fact that Mars and Venus are both going to finally be out of their bombastic siege of energy, right? Remember we said that Mars is usually in a sign for about 6 weeks?
Oh no, not this time.
And Mars was in Cancer for like 6 months.
200 years.
And then there was a... it moved into Leo, and then there was another retrograde. And
we'll
then
get back into Cancer again.
Well, Mars is finally going to move all the way out of Leo, and we're going to be done with that.
For a while.
Hellacious crazy, and it's going to move into Virgo. And Venus, that had the whole big siege in Aries... Remember we said that made people march and women's rights and all this is stressful stuff. Venus is going to move into Taurus and it rules Taurus. So it's really happy. And they are going to be both in earth signs. So they're going to help us figure out Venus says, what do you value? What do you want to strive for? What do you want to take care of and put that Saturn effort and energy into? And Mars says, look at the details. I'm in Virgo. Fight your way out of this paper bag. Make a priorities list. So we do have some help for the intensity, but let me assure you it's going to be intense.
Yeah.
The downfall here
oh dear,
is that there are some really wacky things going on with Mercury and communication. Not a Mercury retrograde, that doesn't happen till next month. But what's going on with the aspects of Mercury's movements, dealing with some other planets, and I'll get into that as we get closer to that, but foot and mouth.
Foot in mouth, not foot and mouth, is it?
Really stop yourself. Don't just spew things out. Organize your thoughts before you say something.
Oh dear.
And this is on many levels, right? You'll jinx it if you blab. You don't want to tell people some stuff. You're going to regret that you told it to them.
Okay.
Also, you don't want to say something harsh that you cannot take back. Once you hurt somebody's feelings, they're hurt.
That's the bug of that.
So, this is going to be an intense time of being able to back up what you're saying. So really, really mind your language, your speech, and what you put out there. Think about it. Is this going to come across like I mean it to? Or should I fix this sentence in my head before I say it?
So mind your P's and Q's and have the receipts, I think is...
Pretty much.
I think it's the thing.
All right,
Gosh,
so
lots
now
of
we got
people...
some extra beeps here. We've got...
maybe just... I think we're doing it via Zoom, and there may be the opportunity to record it. We'll figure that out as we go. If you have to miss one of them, that way you can catch up. All right. You don't think I can handle pyrotechnics, eh? Little do you know about me. And the holes aren't anything to do with candles, let me assure you. There's a whole story behind them, and one day we'll tell it, but never.
And
all right.
Peggy,
Peggy,
Nicole,
hello,
Savannah.
and hello, Savannah. Hello, Nicole. Yeah. Oh no, Peggy, did you manage to put yourself in? Well, they don't have a jail on YouTube, do they? I don't know. They do for the creators, but I don't know. And so maybe it's just weird stuff.
I don't know. Happy Monday.
Things should start working out. And thank you in advance for the further 9 super chats which you guys are going to send, so we can get into the Sea Priestess tonight, which is in our plans if you'd care to oblige. So yeah, what a crazy weekend weather-wise. I mean, it's
there was a frost warning for the Catskills last
night up in the Catskills.
I'm so glad I didn't plant out the corn, the peppers and tomatoes.
Apparently summer gets here this week.
Yeah, it's just going to be
It's supposed to get a lot warmer, but we still have a swimming pool where our circle is. It's insane. We had like nearly 3 inches of rainfall on Saturday, which was just
a little bit of a dampening for the psychic fair.
A lot. They cancelled the outdoor market as well, didn't they?
Well, how could you? It was sideways rain.
Yeah. And
over 3.5 inches of rain.
I see a boatload of peeps watching, but nobody's. Some people have mashed the like button. If you would be so kind as to mash that like button, spam some hearts. That helps, and the super chats help too. Come on, we're trying to be less of a well-kept secret, and you guys can really help. You can really, really help if you feel that way inclined. So, in advance, we do thank you from the heart of our bottom. The bottom of our hearts. I'm sorry, I knew it was something. Oh, right you are then. So I suppose we're going to do some cards in that malarkey. But the one thing I wanted to say is you may have noticed that this year has gone by rather quickly. Because we're in June already, and you think, what the hell happened?
Oh, the months are going by like weeks, and the weeks are going by like days.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, no, because all the inner planets are direct. It's going to go crazy.
Oh, hello, Susan, and thank you so much for the super chat. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. We appreciate that greatly. Yeah, Mount Etna erupted as well, plus there was a whole series of volcanoes erupted in the Pacific Rim.
Okay, yeah, I didn't talk about that today, but I went onto the earthquake, USA earthquake monitor.
USGS, the US Geological Survey. I think.
And there was only one earthquake that was higher than 5. But so far today, when I had looked, there were 40. 40 earthquakes. Wow. And that's it. Yeah, this is Uranus is getting ready to move out of Taurus into Gemini. And that's going to be part of the chaos with our speech. Anyway, yes, and the Pacific, under the ocean, we had volcanoes, and Mount Etna erupted this morning, and Kilauea last week in Hawaii. And I think we had the month's rainfall in 2 days, Friday and Saturday. You're going to see a lot of this kind of activity. Also, since we're on this subject, huge solar flare.
Oh, geomagnetic storm.
Geomagnetic activity.
Yeah.
They say people may be able to see the northern lights tonight as far south as Georgia.
Didn't see anything last night. I did look, but it was still a bit cloudy. But maybe tonight.
Can you imagine? This is a huge... So there may be...
This will be the 5th time I'll have seen them here in my life if they appear again.
There may be some activity that will disturb infrastructure as well. These solar flares and astronomical things that are going on could give us power outages, internet outages. I know there was a big power outage in New Paltz for a few hours last week.
Yep. I don't know if that was necessarily related to that, but it does.
The solar flare, no, but it's related to the astrology.
And there is some school of thought developing that what are they, coronal mass ejections can actually have an effect on the Earth in terms of not just the solar radiation and the stuff that we see in the Northern Lights, where it's obviously hitting the Van Allen belt. That's the thing I could not remember the other night. But there is some school of thought that it does actually affect the magnetic core of the Earth, which causes some, which it would do if you think about it, which causes some movement in, like there's oceanic currents. And there's this dirty, great big haline conveyor that runs all the way through the meridian overturning current, I think is what they call it, which runs through the Atlantic and regulates the weather and all that sort of stuff. Is the reason for the Gulf Stream.
Oh yeah, the one that has the giant garbage patch.
Beneath the surface now is a school of thought that says there are very similar currents that occur within the liquid part of the underneath the crust.
This like saline conveyor that has the...
so it's like moving these currents around, and normally they're kind of stable, but when you get this burst of electromagnetic energy hit the planet, it causes wobbles in them as well. And so this can cause earthquakes and volcanoes and all sorts of stuff like that.
That's a good scientific reason for this stuff. I don't know what 14 or 40 is in reference to.
Earthquakes, I think.
Oh, 40. Over 40.
Yeah.
But only one was over 5. There were a lot of small ones. But 40 earthquakes. And that's when I looked earlier today. So I don't know what it is up to now, or what it'll be in this 24 hours.
Yeah, so been a lot of firsts. I mean, I've never experienced an earthquake.
Here.
Well, I've never experienced an earthquake until I did here.
Right, so. But we predicted that in the astrology class. Anyway, Logan, you could use that energy, sure. You just have to figure out how.
As you do.
But it might be a little bit unstable. But you kind of like that, so...
We're all unstable in our own way, aren't we? Everybody's somebody's weirdo, that's for sure. Plus major floods in Nigeria and huge landslide in Switzerland. Oh, yeah. The glacial collapse, that was nasty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
And I think they had some sort of half of a village fall off a cliff in India.
Wow.
I saw something go by.
Goodness gracious me. Well, yeah, nothing to see here. There's nothing to see. Denial works for us. We'll just ignore everything that's going on. That's probably best, Yeah, you can't win an earthquake, that's for sure. What kind of energy is the Northern Lights, though? I've never experienced it as far, so I'm unsure. Well, if you were around in May, you would have done. I got some absolutely beautiful shots of it May last year, wasn't it?
It's kind of like rainbow energy, like chakra related, I would think, because it's blues, greens, yellows, reds.
Yeah, it excites the upper atmosphere, and that causes the ionic, the they become charged particles which glow, basically. And that's why it's like a aurora, which it is, because it glows. And there's like these amazing sheets of colour, which is kind of cool. I mean, we used to, when we were, for the first 10 years of our relationship, commuting between here and Wales, we saw them frequently from the airplane because it was an overnight flight. And that would often, with the Great Circle routes, go quite up over, Greenland and stuff like that. So we did see them a few times. But it's only when I've had my foot on the earth here, and if we see them tonight, which I think the weather is
supposed to be better
towards it,
And they say you could see them as far south as Georgia, so we ought to see something here.
So the secret is, if you see what appears to be a very faint background colour in the sky, you'll see it by eye. If you have a phone and you have the ability to take long exposures with it, the idea is to just go out there with your phone and stay super, super still and take a long exposure, and you'll get really good photographs. I got some amazing photographs. So there you go. Anyway, enough wittering. The Northern Lights are amazing. So there. All right. You got everybody now?
I do.
All right then.
I'm first for Susan.
There you go.
And yes, Taylor, you're right. Do Reiki healing, because that works with all the colors. Susan. Some sort of travel again for work. Now, I don't think you're going to Florida, but you might be going a little more locally, like maybe Connecticut or something. Some sort of travel for work. And I think it's a really good idea. I think it'll expand your client base a little bit, or open something up to you for maybe a monthly or a weekly gig somewhere. So answer invitations, make that little trip. It's not like you're going to have to fly somewhere and stay in a hotel. You'll be able to drive, but I think you might get connected with something, and I feel like it might be Connecticut, that could be really positive for you financially, and also just for your well-being of being able to share your knowledge. Okay.
Get connected in Connecticut.
Sean, you have Sean.
Sean, you can kiss my royal arse.
It's not nice.
But you get the Empress, which is a really, really good card. So this is quite excellent. Great fecundity here. Really is. So I don't know what to add. This is just this. There's nothing about this card that isn't positive, frankly, other than for the wheat, which has to basically die for us to live. But we also give the wheat life, if you think about it as well, because it depends upon us to grow it. So whilst we're going to grind it up and make our flour and our bread from there, I think this is indicative of the cycle of life,
I think there's something really positive regarding his mom.
So,
because it's the mother card.
Yeah, it is a very positive card. So maybe there's a little bit more, a little bit more zest and energy and happiness, and that's kind of good. That's good. And also, if you start a new project, I think it's going to work out quite well for you. Tell your friends. Tell your friends.
Oh dear,
the
black tourmaline fell over.
Don't throw the black tourmaline over. We need that.
I have Gilda. Gilda. I see it here.
She does, apparently.
Oh, Gilda. Nice.
Well, I'll do.
So, maybe you didn't think you were going to have much work over the summer, but it sure looks like you're going to. This is a good prosperity card. Sometimes it takes us a little while to get in a different rhythm or a different routine. If we've been working on family things and home things and trying to get organized, then when the cycle comes back where we're going to work outside the home, we have to get ourselves in that new grind, in that new energy. But I feel like this is a really good prosperity time for you. So yeah, go ahead. Like I was telling Susan, take the offers, do what you got to do, make the money, get yourself back into a position of good cash flow.
Who do I got now?
You have Yoff.
Hello, Yoff. The Moon. cold-hearted orb that
Isidore.
rules the night, removes the colours from our sight. Red is grey and yellow white, but we decide which is right and which is illusion. So,
maybe the Saturn-Neptune thing is affecting you.
yeah, well, we're all lunatics to one degree or another, aren't we? To be honest, yes, it is. But I don't know. You're very. You've got a great deal of emotional intelligence, and I think when somebody else is off, I think you pick up on that quite strongly. And I think this isn't necessarily around you, but I think you've got to be the sort of, calm yourself now, stop your barking at the moon kind of thing. Calm yourself, it's going to be all right. You're just not seeing it in the right way. And I think you can be like the voice of reason here, especially in a quarrelsome situation. This is really good. This shows the ability, I think, to mediate and to bring about reason and just to dial it down a notch or two. And I think this is something that you actually have a very strong, like you have that deep emotional intelligence, which is a rare commodity, to be honest, especially in guys, so use it. I think you're going to need to use it. It's the unfortunate thing. I think somebody's getting a little bent out of shape. They need you to sort them out, so good luck with that. That's it.
Carol, my Virgo friend.
Oh, Carol.
You're getting Mars to light that flame under you.
It tore through Leo then, didn't it? It was just like whoosh.
Well, finally when it started going direct. So what have we got? Doris, Jean, Logan, and Carol, the Virgos that I know of. Mars is coming to give you some energy this month. All right, this is Carol. Carol, work that stuff, baby. All right.
We like this.
This feels like you have a list of mile long of things that you want to get done. So remember what I was saying about Neptune, the illusion, and Saturn, the reality. Neptune might be overwhelming you a little bit with hundreds of ideas and things that you have in your mind about how you want things to be. So use Saturn to make your priority list. Use that energy of Mars to give you stamina and physical energy. And just work on one thing at a time. Do a little bit, take breaks, document your progress, and you're going to be okay. You have Cass.
Change and transform. This is actually an extraordinarily positive card. It gives it the ability to literally wipe the slate clean and start over fresh. And that sometimes is although I think one of the biggest problems, because she's a Leo like me, isn't she, if I'm not entirely mistaken?
Cass.
Yeah, one of the biggest problems is sometimes learning to let go of something. Because we're kind of prideful individuals. What's she pointing at? She's pointing at something.
This is the towers on the moon card. So
yeah,
there's light coming to show you what really truly is the illusion.
It is, yeah, because sometimes we hold on to something out of sheer bloody persistence, because that's the kind of way that we go, and not realizing that we are in fact banging our heads against the wall, and we don't realize it until we stop and go, oh bloody hell, that feels so much better. So here is the opportunity to actually let go of something that does not serve you, wipe the slate clean, and move forward to a brand new day and something very exciting on the horizon. So, but it does necessitate letting go of something that just is not serving you anymore. All right? Even though it's difficult, we sometimes I don't want to say because that's like failure. No, it isn't. It's not. It's okay. All right.
All right. I have Helena.
Hello, Helena.
Her card's way down here.
Apparently. It's that one.
All right.
Steppings of Faith.
Yeah. All right. Maybe over the last few months, as Pluto has moved into Aquarius, you have done some inventorying and rearranging. and try to kind of get yourself back on an even keel. Pluto's going to be in Aquarius for a very big chunk of time. So we have to get used to it. We have to have it under control. So over this next week or so, let yourself focus on how you feel about different things. And notice if you've had some changes in how you feel about different things. I really think it's time to keep a journal. And I really think that you will find that you're headed in the right direction. Just have some faith. And, maybe you do have to take some big steps. But you've done that before. And it always works out. So breathe, focus, move. Okay.
There you have it. Come on, guys. We've only got 3 super chats so far. Maybe they don't want us to do book club tonight.
Jess.
Oh, hello, Jess.
So Jess and Yoff and who? We have 3.
Susan.
Oh, Susan. Awesome.
The Aquarian card.
Jess.
Which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So basically get your kit off and pour water into water. No, joking apart. This very much is about a very healing card for me. Tremendously healing card. And it's, we know what you do. You are a healer. You cannot help but heal. But, heal thyself physician as well is the thing, because I think sometimes, if I may be terribly naggy, you forget how important you are, and without you, you can't do for anybody else. Do you know what I'm saying? So heal thyself physician, be part of that flow, accept that healing yourself, and really, take some time for you. Take some time, and I know this is difficult for you, but to do absolutely nothing. to do absolutely nothing. Just be still and allow yourself to bask in just the beauty of being alive. And I think in some way this is going to rejuvenate you in a way. Yeah, it's a beautiful card, this. And I know there's so much you want to do for so many others. And you do such a wonderful job, and you bring healing wherever you go. And it's beautiful and amazing. But don't forget you, okay? It's kind of important. Without you, you can do nothing. Seriously.
Alrighty.
All right.
Taylor.
Taylor. Justice.
This looks like some sort of contract or getting over a waiting period for something. I'm thinking, because I want to figure out what this is. It kind of feels like when you get a new job and you're on like a probationary period, or you're trying to learn things, and this is like finally getting over that and getting the contract, or knowing that it's going to be what you thought it was going to be. And I feel like it's going to help you get things back into a balance, back into an order. So I know that this is the card for Libra, and sometimes Libra is a little bit squirrely with making choices and decisions. And that's okay, because, sometimes it takes some time. But I feel like there's something new here that is really going to help you get your balance back, and that you're going to get through that waiting period to the time when things are fair and you feel like you're in the right place at the right time. You have Logan.
Logan? Oh, I got Logan.
And thank you, Savannah.
Page of Wands. I think sometimes it's possible to get too close to a situation, and I'm feeling that this is a point where you need to maybe extract yourself a little bit, distance yourself a little bit, be more circumspect in your viewpoint is the word I'm looking for. I think for you, coming up with like a cohesive plan of, where am I going, how am I getting there, is going to be really bloody useful for you. And you have to recognize that you're not a passenger in your life. Yeah, stuff happens the whole time, it just does. And we get pulled off our course. We get knocked sideways, things come out, we get unsettled, we get worked up. But try to think about what good looks like. Because we look at this person, we see that they're very much like, mulling things over and really looking out. Their heads lifted, with anticipation of something kind of cool. And they're starting to bring it into their vision, yeah? And I think this is critical for you, is to envision what good looks like. And when you know what good looks like, it's much easier to sort of gravitate towards it, So start to maybe even work with a vision board, seriously. Something
those are
like
fun
that.
because it's something you can go back and focus on.
It's something that I think will help your focus and help you be very task orientated, yeah? So that you're not like pulling your energies about in such a disparate way, which I think sometimes you do. I think sometimes you allow stuff just to like throw you over here or over here or over there. And you again do so much for so many others, It's good to invest in yourself here. So a little bit of visionary work for you and a vision board, I think, would help a great deal. All right? So thank you, Savannah, for the super chat. Only 6 more to go, peeps, if you want us to do it.
Peggy.
Hello, Peggy.
Peggy.
Peggy was having problems with chatting, but I think she can chat now.
Peggy, I think that this is a call to recognize and listen to your psychic ability. Not the little voice that says, oh, you don't know that, you can't do that, you can't be that, that's not what you really think. Not the little negative voice that you allow, to be the roommate in your head. But your true intuitive awareness, right? I feel like this week, when you're having conversations with people, you're going to get the 2 conversations. The one that they're saying and the one that your psychic mind knows that they actually mean. So sometimes when you run into different people and they start talking to you, you can recognize that they're not being exactly truthful, or that they're hiding something, or that they're just doing small talk because they have to. I really think that you should listen to your intuition and, check out what you can check out to be truth or not. Again, don't pay attention to the little negative voice. I'm talking about getting something and going, oh, right, I'm going to log that and I'll remember that when I need to, right? Not the little voice in your head that says, no, no, no.
But no.
All right. You have Savannah.
Yeah, but no. I'm thinking this is Savannah's. Oh, hey. I love this one. This is such a powerful card. This also shows about a just circumstance, a justice coming about. This is very much, this is my King of Solomon card.
Well, it's the Minor Arcana Justice card.
Is it, or is that the Six of Bleeding?
No, this is the Minor Arcana Justice card, Libra.
Okay. I always thought Six of Pentacles, but what do I know?
There's a scale on there, but...
Yeah, and he's doling stuff out, he's ministering stuff. This guy's got a sword, but he don't got no scales, and that's important, all right? Because the sword features very strongly in King Solomon's parable, where he says, cut the baby in 2 and give them half each. What happened was he took that person to a place of like an unconscionable outcome, and sometimes we do need to embrace our dark side to make a point. So yeah, we get setbacks, but I believe you're going to be victorious in the long run here, and that you will bring about a just resolution. But it involves you being a little less passive and a lot more active. Does that make sense to you? I hope it does, because this is one where you get your hands on. It's down to you, yeah? All right. Thank you, Peggy. Just 5 more to go.
I have Nicole.
Hello, Nicole. She's in there somewhere. Look, she made our lights flash. I like it when people make our lights flash. It's kind of cool.
All right. Attention to detail. So we know that we have that Mars in Virgo that's giving us this ability to have the attention to detail. But we also have this foot in mouth, like in open mouth, insert foot.
With both hands.
So again, make the contract to yourself the most important one. Don't tell anyone that doesn't absolutely need to know what your plans are. Get your priorities in order and focus on your plan. And I think this coming full moon, the strawberry moon in Sagittarius full moon, might be a really good time for you to do some magic towards being able to execute your plans. Okay.
All right.
Now we need a card of the week.
We do, but you better shuffle them up, because I'm going to make a mess of everything.
Okay.
Because I do that, you know. Some salt with your feet, sir.
Yeah, it's this month is really, like, I'm afraid to say anything because, you know.
Oh, you just speak your mind.
Well, I'm
usually
Aquarius and I usually say things that, you know.
I'm always in it. It's only the depth that varies, you know. So,
all right, card of the
week.
week.
Have I got to pick this one? I think it's this one. I feel it's poking out. Oh. Speaking of, this is you, isn't it?
The answers are already right there in front of you.
The answer lies mainly in the soil. Quite literally at this point, I think. This is very much a card about fertility and fecundity and getting out into your garden, you know, and nurturing and working in harmony with nature. I think it's also an extraordinarily practical thing to do at this juncture. If you haven't got a garden, maybe think about getting a garden on the go and getting with it and getting down to it and really sort of
we're itching to get out in the garden.
Oh, well, probably. I'm sure we'll be out there. But, you know, we've been doing all sorts of stuff in our garden. Our garden's getting kind of crazy. Well, they're the Celtica gardens now, aren't they? They're just, they're like, it's too big to be one person's garden.
It's a farm.
Well, I don't know if it's quite on the farm level.
There's 100 grow bags out there.
That's just the grow bags.
There's 40 squash plants out there.
There's a ton of beds and all that sort of stuff. So we've got it going on. And the polytunnel, which is fantastic. You should see the zucchini in that right now. They're getting huge. I think you're going to get some zucchini, which you didn't get last year. So
card of the week says, you already got the answers. You just have to look for them.
And work the land, literally. Work the land, or work with nature, if not the land. You know, work with the nature of nature. And nurture. Nurture is what brings about good. Nurture, all right. Practical stuff.
I'm going to read a little bit of this here forward so people get excited.
The forward, are you? And all maybe right. They'll throw us 5 more super chats. Well, you never know.
This was first published in 1935 by the Society of the Inner Light.
That was Dion Fortune's society.
The works of the late Dion Fortune were written a long time ago. And since then, a great deal more has been understood and realized, so that many of the ideas then expressed are now from the viewpoint of a psychic. Psychism is simply one type of inner awareness, and there are other types at least as valid and as common. Non-psychic readers, therefore, can translate experiences in terms of psychic imagery into the terms of their own inner awareness. The publication of these books continues at present because there's still such a value in them, and because they can act as a valuable pointer to any seeker. So, the Sea Priestess.
Sea Priestess. Here, I'll read the back because I can read the back. Why not? Because we've still got a quarter hour to try.
Oh my gosh!
To try and rustle.
Will you see how accelerated everything is?
Boom, done. Right. So, in the Sea Priestess, if I can say that in English, Dion Fortune introduces her most powerful and archetypal female character, the adept Vivienne Le Fay Morgane. Morgane, a reincarnation of the Atlantean Sea Priestess who saved England from being submerged, meets the asthmatic Wilfred Maxwell, who is in the throes of a midlife crisis. Aren't we all?
Was this when she moved to Glastonbury and got involved with that doctor guy?
I don't know. After literally enchanting Maxwell, the two start a series of magical workings. This culminates in a ritual and one of the most important magical lessons of the book, where he assumes the role of a god, all men in one. To her goddess, all women in one. Morgan eventually departs, leaving Maxwell to struggle with bringing the lessons learned in the practice of magic to the rest of his rather mundane life. The Sea Priestess is a classic occult teaching novel with romantic overtones and a foundation work for modern Wicca, paganism and ritual magic. The Sea Priestess is Fortune's most popular novel and a crucial book in the series of fiction and non-fiction that she planned as a complete course of study in magic. The two key non-fiction titles are Psychic Self-Defense,
seminal work,
and The Mystical Kabbalah.
Impossible to read.
Oh, somebody sent us another
Two
super
more.
chat. Oh, 2 more super chats. Oh, you guys are just awesome. Thank you. We're up to 7. This is doing wonderful. All right. So her fiction titles in the series include The Secrets of Dr. Taverner, The Demon Lover, The Winged Bull.
These are the 4. The Winged Bull.
Yeah. The Goatfoot God, The Sea Priestess, and Moon Magic.
Those are the 4 that really link to the Kabbalah and the elements.
Fortune claimed that she presented her theories in non-fiction, but her fictional works were clear, practical manuals for putting those theories into practice. In her own words, the mystical Kabbalah gives the theory, but the novels give the practice. Those who study the mystical Kabbalah with the help of the novels get the keys of the temple to put in their hands. Dion Fortune, real name Violet Frith, 1890 to 1946, born in Llandudno in Wales, was founder of the Society of the Inner Light and is recognised as one of the most luminous and significant figures of 20th century esoteric thought. A prolific writer, pioneer psychologist and powerful psychic, she dedicated her life to the revival of the Western mystery tradition. And it is
she wrote tons of things for the Inner Light.
Her non-fiction's not easy to read.
No.
But this is actually quite riveting.
Like, she wrote things like Sacred Marriage, Training and Works of an Initiate. There's several books that they put together. We're talking the 1930s. And this was a time when we didn't have videos and vlogs, but we did have newsletters, like a blog. And she used to write these newsletters for her people who followed the Society of the Inner Light. And then a man named Gareth Knight, who only just recently passed away. Gareth Knight compiled a lot of them that were in similar veins and put them into book form. So we have some forwards written by him. Circuit of Force is an interesting book, but they are very...
the Training and Work of an Initiate.
Yeah, they're very esoterically written, so you kind of have to read the sentence and go...
Yeah, I think I think one of the biggest things with her non-fictional work is the huge generational gap, and the way things.
Well, this is almost 100 years ago now.
Right. And the way things were phrased and written. There was a far more, if the word is appropriate, properness
Yes.
in the way that she
communicated
wrote.
in a different way. Slang was different 100 years ago.
Yeah, and
But her works are very important.
Yeah, and the we lack, I guess. We've realised our language evolves and transforms as we progress through, and we have subtle nuances and things that are written between the lines.
But that's what I think about it. I think that when we open one of her books, we are kind of being transported to a different place, and there are those offers of aha moments. I mean, in Trainings and Work of an Initiate, she talks about the elemental beings, and she explains that while they are conscious, living, animate beings, they are not inanimate beings, they are living, conscious beings. She explains that their conscience is different from ours.
Oh, yeah.
That they don't look at consequence of their actions in the same way. So if you are petitioning an elemental for a particular thing, they are not going to be the guardian of what you're petitioning.
Oh God, no.
Meaning, like, and I use that word because when we talk to the Watchtower energies, to the guardians of the Watchtowers, the guardians are not the elemental beings. And when we petition the Fae, or we petition a gnome or an undine or a dragon, a sylph, we are not getting the balance of action versus reaction. So we need to really think about, if I'm asking this fairy to do XYZ for me, they may do it without thinking of what the consequence of that may be, because their conscience, not consciousness, is different.
Oh, absolutely. And I think in the ways to try and express this, one more to go, guys. We're up to 9, and thank you for all of the people that have given us super chats so far. You are just wonderful, and we love you.
I'm saying, like, you have to really look at these books.
Yeah. So to put it in terms of Jungian psychology, I guess elementals operate purely in id. Purely in id, which means they lack an ego and super ego. There's nothing that is going to control them to say, oh no, don't do that, because a fire elemental burns, that's what they do, and left to their own devices, they're going to transform everything with fire, including things you don't want burnt down. So it's important, this is when we're telling people, certainly in the Craft of the Wise, when you invoke an elemental, do not leave it invoked.
Yeah. Don't say stay if you want to.
No, that would be a big mistake.
But yeah, I think...
Jess, thank you.
Yes.
Single-handedly, Jess has made... almost single-handedly. You're awesome, Jess. Thank you so very, very much. We appreciate it.
But I do think these novels are really interesting because we're being brought through things that our subconscious is also going to digest. Kind of when if you've read High Magic's Aid. If you just pick it up to read it as a novel, you don't realize the treasure that's in there. And I think that's what we're going to find out over these next few months, the treasures that are hidden in here.
But you see from where you're standing,
Yeah.
So when a lot of people picked up that novel by Gerald Gardner under the pen name Askaya, nobody realised, or certainly unless they'd had exposure or had been down through the pentagram, as they say, nobody had that kind of exposure. So it just comes across as like, oh, this is very trite, But when you see from a place of like, craft involvement, it's a dead giveaway. It really is. But I mean, that book was written at the time when witchcraft was still very much illegal.
And this book was certainly written prior to this. It was 30s.
Yeah.
That's nearly 100 years ago.
Yep.
But we're going to find treasures in there, as if you've gone back in time into a little witch's library and had a chance to look at something. And then, again, as we read it, we'll all see from where we're standing. So, we'll Budinsky and say things about...
Budinsky?
We'll Budinsky on each other and say, hey, but this or that, Yeah. Anyway, I think that's awesome.
So, 8 o'clock tonight, we shall be back with the very first installment of The Sea Priestess. And it's going to be good. I'm actually really looking forward to this because... You know,
Take a little trip back in time and see some of the mysteries.
It's a long time since I read this book, a long time ago. And it'll be interesting because there's what I've learned, I guess, in the years in between.
And I think there's a lot of people out there that have always wanted to take the time to be able to read these novels, but, now you have a great excuse. You can just tune in and listen.
You can. You can be cooking your dinner or whatever you're doing, brushing your dog, brushing your hair. Don't cook your hair.
All right. We'll see you tonight. Miles to go before then. We'll see you at 8. Thank you all very much.
so very much. Thank you for
those who gave super chats.
Yes, thank you. We love you guys. It really helps a great deal. It helps the channel. It really does, joking apart.
Yeah.
So we're doing
really
our best to be less of a well-kept secret. And as I said, you guys can help. If you can find it in your heart to share this, on your social media, that would be fantastic too. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.
See you later.
And remember, some salt with the feet, sir. Yeah. Watch what you say.
Mind what you're saying.
Yeah. Think twice. Think twice, speak once. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
All right, guys.
Peace.
See you later. Take care. Bye for now. Oh, stop that. Press the right buttons.